I'm in a studio with universal writers. Like, that's a very real thing. There are people in cahoots, very high in power in very powerful industries, not exclusive to the music industry. I lost all the air in my chest and it felt like I was gonna die. And she left the room and I could hear her telling my mom, like, there's a chance she might not make it. This wasn't a YouTube thing. It wasn't a work thing. This was like a deeply personal friendship thing. A lot of the people that you thought like watching were best friends, they hated each other behind the scenes.
Okay, well, this is your fault. That's why I don't talk to you anymore. I distance myself from you.
And it was so obvious.
I erased you from my memory at one point. Would you ever be friends or do a video with Loey again? Welcome back to the Sidetracked podcast. We have such an exciting episode today. I'm sure you guys can already tell by the title. Well, I'm recording, right? We don't want another last episode mishap. But I am. We're all good. I'm sure you guys can tell by the title. We have such an exciting episode today. And it's my first guest. So I'm really, really excited. It's a very good friend of mine. We're going to get into that. First, I just want to say I did decorate for Christmas. My apartment looks so freaking cute right now. I don't know if it's on camera, but I have like a mirror right there and it has like all Christmas lights around it. And I don't know if you could see it. And my whole freaking Christmas tree is right here. And I wish there was a way for me to have it in the background, but like the lighting would just be so weird because the lighting is like behind the camera. I don't know. I need you guys to know that I really, really tried. But maybe next time, maybe I'll rearrange things so it'll be more Christmassy. But anyway, today's episode is so exciting because it is one of my personal good friends, Hailey Reese. We have Hailey Reese in the house today, and boy, have Hailey and I had a rocky friendship. A lot of drama, a lot of public drama, a lot of drama channels talking about us back in the day. If you guys are new here, new to following me, or even new to the podcast, I always talk about how back in like 2018, I did paranormal videos on YouTube with my two good friends, Hailey and Loey, and we were called the Soul Siblings. At the time, we were getting millions of views on all of our videos, our paranormal investigations, and we didn't realize how big it was until it all came crumbling down in a online controversy.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to get all into that, and it's going to be a really fun, good episode, and I'm very excited to be filming with Hailey again.
Well, hi. No pressure. I feel like there's so much pressure for me going into this, being your first guest, but I'm truly honored and thank you so much for thinking of having me on.
Have you ever done a podcast?
No, I don't think I've ever been a podcast guest before. Maybe once or twice. I think I did a couple of paranormal podcasts.
Taking your virginity.
Definitely my lifestyle podcast, Virginity.
Am I lifestyle, you think?
I think now, aren't you? Like pop culture, lifestyle, isn't that kind of your...
I feel like there's two very different things, pop culture and lifestyle.
Pop culture and lifestyle? No, you're my first,
right.
like sitting down and just being Hailey on a podcast rather than like Hailey the ghost girl, which is exciting. It's super exciting. So I'm glad to be here. I'm a huge fan of this podcast in general.
No, you're not.
I truly am. I've watched so many of your episodes. I watch them while I'm getting ready.
Do you hate watch them?
No, I don't. I honestly don't. He's gonna say I'm lying, guys. This is his thing. It's his current fixation is saying you're lying. You're lying.
I can't accept a compliment.
No,
it's
like
really
he had
bad.
the camera up on his eyebrows and his hair, and both were looking great. And I said, "You look good," and he's like, "You're a liar. It's just my hair."
No, you guys, you literally were only able to see this much of
And
me.
look how cute he
and
looks.
It was like from this angle. And she was like, "Oh my God, you look so good." And I was like, "Why are you lying? Because now I'm like never gonna believe you." Anyway, wait, did you see Wicked?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm so excited. So I want to go see it, but I feel like I have to go see it with someone. And full honesty, Tyler is not the biggest musical fan. Like, I love a musical.
Okay.
He's not. But he wants to take me. And he's told me, like, we'll get the VIP seats, but like I'm concerned he might fall asleep.
No, he's not.
It's that good, right?
It's so aesthetically and visually pleasing.
Yeah.
It's filmed so well. Like, I even saw that, you know how like a lot of movies these days, they have like kind of like a blue or grayish tint to them to make them more dramatic? This movie used like a different type of camera. So it has like more of an amber tint in the lens. So all the colors pop so much more. And it was just so aesthetically pleasing and shot so well that like every scene is building up to something. I never saw Wicked. I know nothing about the story. I really wanted to be surprised by the movie. I'm not a musical person.
Yeah.
I've never seen a musical.
Really?
I'm
shocked.
Not even like Greatest Showman.
You never... I'm shocked that given our past back in the day, you were not forced into watching that one. It's so, you would like
I know,
it.
Loie used to be obsessed
I'm a
with
big
it.
musical person, but honestly, I watched already the like, I don't know if it was a behind the scenes or one of the channel's specials on Wicked and like how they filmed it and the set and everything. Andrew, if you haven't watched that, they built the world. Like, have you seen it?
In the
Like
movie?
the movie, like the actual like world, they
Yeah.
built that. Like they made a
I
set.
saw it.
They planted. I don't remember how many.
9 million.
9 million. Yeah,
9 million.
Like insane. And I feel like as an
They
actress,
planted 9 million. What was it? Tulips or poppies?
I think it was tulips.
I would have said tulips.
I think it was tulips.
I would have said tulips, but now seeing the movie, I feel like it's poppies because poppies were a big part of the movie.
Oh, maybe. I don't know either way, but I just remember like I was watching the
9
thing.
million.
It's wild. And then everyone's saying like now, oh, you look at Ariana and she's completely embodied the character. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's her dream role. But second of all, she was in that world. Like imagine going to set every day, embodying a character and being in the world. It would feel so real to you. And don't even get me started on the fact they truly sing, like vocals.
Live. Yeah, like live. Like they turn the set into a studio. So like while they're acting it, that's their actual voice while they're
See,
acting
I'm
it.
obsessed.
It's insane. But anyway, you guys, if you have not seen Wicked, if you don't like musicals, Zach hates a musical. He like actually hates a musical and he really liked it.
Well, it's a really powerful story. And I think when music is a part of it too, it becomes so much bigger because you're feeling it so much deeper and like the emotions. And even in the behind the scenes that I saw, they were saying how while they were filming and they were singing live, it brought more passion to their characters, which I'm sorry. I wish my life could be a musical. Like if I could sing my little way through life, I would be overjoyed.
You have to go
I'm
see it
going
and bring
to.
Tyler. He'll like it.
No, I think he will too.
And if not, bring your
and
mom.
he has such an appreciation. Oh, my mom would never sit through a 3-hour movie. I took her to go and see
Okay.
It Ends With Us in the summer, and she enjoyed it. But we had like the recliner seats, and midway through, I
she
could
fall
just
asleep?
feel her going.
That's one of my irrational I have a whole list, like I want to talk about it on one of these podcast episodes, but like I have a whole list of like irrational things that make me mad.
It's falling asleep?
When people like, no, specifically, even a step ahead of that, when people say they're tired. Because like let's say I'm playing, especially I get really mad at Jenna or like Stephanie, like if me and Jenna are playing
Yeah.
video games and she's like, oh, I'm getting tired. I get like so irrationally mad where like I feel bad because now she's like afraid to say it.
Like you
So,
actually,
like,
okay,
now,
hold
like-
on. You get like jokingly mad, or you're fuming
No, I get so
because they're ruining the fun. Like, is that what it is?
because it's just like grow up.
Like, grow up. The fun's still
Like-
going on. We don't have a curfew.
Yes,
Oh
like we
my
have like
God.
people to beat in Fortnite, and like so it got to the point where I've noticed now she'll be like, oh wait, like I gotta go like put the cookies in the oven. Like I'm gonna take like a 5-minute break, and then like I won't hear from her.
Andrew.
But I mean, we're so close. Me and her are so
No,
close.
obviously,
Like we
that's
text
so
all day,
funny.
every day.
You know what that reminds me of? The other day, I was having a day where I missed my grandma. And so, you know me, emotional.
Yeah.
I'm like having that day and I'm telling Tyler like the audacity of her to croak. Like, who does she think she is leaving
Right.
me? And then an hour later, I go on YouTube and I'm watching this video and it's this couple and the husband's like, don't tell so-and-so that your grandparents are dead and you miss them because it's like a really big pet peeve of hers. And she starts going, everybody's grandparents are dead. Get over it. And so I was like, noted. If I ever see her again, because we saw her at Playlist, I'm like, if we ever see her again, I will not bring up
Who was
missing
it?
my grandma.
What was her name again? Cut this. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think I would have seen her?
Because you watched Nikocado.
No, I.
Okay,
Why everyone thinks
wait. Can I tell them something?
I've like never actually watched a Nikocado. Like I'm not subscribed to him.
Okay, Andrew, I don't know if you remember this, but when we first became friends, okay, obviously, like, I would watch my friends on YouTube. So, like, I was watching you, I was watching Loie, like, I was watching my friends. And the one day, I'm watching a video and Nicocado's throwing a temper tantrum. So, like, he's throwing his food and, like, smearing cheese all over himself. And, like, I would enjoy watching certain videos of his, but there are some that are just too much for me. Like, one thing I can't stand is when people, like, burp or fart while they're eating. I can't do it. I know. I just like, okay, I don't choose to watch it on YouTube. Like if you're with me and you have to do it, like go for it. But
Right.
I don't sit there and enjoy watching that. So I turned to Tyler and I'm like, oh God, like that's so gross. I can't watch this. And he goes, that's your friend. And hold on, you froze.
No.
Oh, you're really.
No, I actually froze.
He goes,
No, I actually.
that's your friend. And I go, Nicocado's not my friend. And he was like, you just went out to see him. This was years ago. And I was like, who are you talking about? And he was like, your friend Andrew. And I'm like, Andrew is not Nikocado Avocado. And he was like, oh, but to be fair, he never watched your videos, and he never watched Nicocado's.
Hailey,
so he didn't.
There's no fairness. There's no fairness.
He didn't know. And so, but also, this was before Nikocado gained a very significant unhealthy amount of weight. This was when he was like normal. Like he was normal. Can I say that? Am I going to get canceled for saying he was normal? He was.
No, you're fine.
He was a healthy BMI at the time, but it was just funny because he literally, honest to God, thought that was my friend, and I'm like, you thought I went out to collaborate with Nikocado and you weren't slightly concerned?
I love how you are the one taking offense here.
No, because I would throw down with Nikocado Avocado, especially now. I've seen his recent videos, and like he's so level-headed and normal, and it truly was just a persona. But have you seen him do his persona skinny?
His persona what?
His persona now that he's skinny, like he turned it on. He was doing an episode of like a podcast, and he turned it on, and just seeing his crazy in his new body was like, I felt
really?
like I was in an alternate reality. Like he did it for a second.
So he does still act normal?
He's acting totally normal right now. Like from what I've seen, I don't watch him. Like I'm not like a Nikocado Avocado viewer. I'm not subscribed, but like,
It sounds like you are.
It does, doesn't it? I used to watch a lot more than I do now.
Oh, good times. Really, really good times. But I want to start getting into the Hailey Reese lore.
Here we go.
I mean, we were talking before about you loving musicals and if you could sing everything. And what a lot of people don't know is that Hailey has a huge history in the music industry. You had a record label back in the day. It wound up not working out. We'll get into the reasons why and all that. But I want to get into that. So who were you signed with originally?
So I started out doing music at a studio by my house because my mom wanted to get it for me for either Christmas or a birthday. I know it was winter. And when I went there, I just recorded music that I'd been writing. And the irony of it all was that at the time, Universal Music Group in New York was looking for a 15-year-old girl my age to essentially like fill in an album so there was a girl before me who had been signed and whatnot, and things didn't work out for her for a number of reasons. And so they ended up dropping her, and they were looking for a 15-year-old girl to kind of push. And back then they were doing like what they called 360 deals, which I don't think exists now the way that they did back then.
Really?
I don't think so. I don't think it's the same type of format that it was back then. But back then, 360 essentially meant like if you were to sign, you were signing for like music, TV, clothing brand, touring. Like it was everything they had their hands in. So they were getting their cut from it and whatnot. But that studio, actually the one Andrew and I went to, got a call from them saying that they had heard one way or another, somebody had heard one of the songs that I wrote in New York. And they were like, this is crazy. We want to fly her out. And so I flew out to New York at 15 years old and started working in Universal on Broadway. So crazy. Like imagine me coming from a small city in Ontario, Canada, to just going to New York at 15 years old, dropping out of school, pursuing it online because I had to, and started working in there. And at the time.
So when you say you started working in New York, you mean you moved to New York?
I moved to New York. Temporarily. Right in Times Square. So.
Okay, so what I want to know like more about like what that looked like.
Yeah.
So like were you paying rent? Did they put you somewhere? Who was with you?
So at the time, essentially, I got in the phone call. I'll kind of start from the beginning here for those who aren't familiar with the process of music. Keep in mind, this would have been now going on like 13 years ago. Yeah, because I would have been 15. So it was quite a long time ago. And they had called and they were like, we want to fly you out. Well, initially they wanted to get on a call and talk with me and meet me. And they loved my energy and my passion and everything. And kind of just going back for a second, I started singing at the age of 2. And so music was my entire world. I had no other ambition for a career. I had all these other things that I was passionate about. I loved writing. I loved like all these different things. But like it was dead set for me. Music was it. So my whole life from like the age of 2, I worked towards this. So getting that call at 15 and hearing like, we love you, we want to fly you out, was like hearing I just won the lottery. Like wholeheartedly, it was the most surreal. Like imagine all your dreams just coming true in front of you. And so they're like, yes, we're going to fly you out. Oh my God. And actually, oh my gosh, I didn't even meet them in person before they moved me out there. So
that's crazy.
So what they said was, do you want to come out here and work for a year? like on music. Like we're just going to pump out music every single day. And I was like, say less. And so they put me up in an apartment on 51st Street right by, like my bedroom window could see Times Square. And my mom and I, yeah, we had a 2-bedroom in New York right there. That's crazy. Like yes. For where we were, it was a beautiful like apartment. And I remember Nicki Minaj did a concert right down in Times Square. And I sat with my window open just watching like front row pretty much. It was like this time in my life was a dream.
I was just going to say, do you look back at that time now and like, is it like a good cloud, like dark cloud, or like good memories?
So it's really funny because for a while, we'll get into what happened and the reason that music shifted for me. I was pretty bitter about it. Looking back now, it's the best days of my life. Like there's a period between music and then the start of YouTube that is just like, I don't know, if I could go back, I would just go back just to see myself in that space because it was the most me I ever felt, right?
Do you feel that like you had a bitterness toward it because you were in those teen years where like most teens have like a rebellion toward something? Is that why? Or like was there something else behind it that you had a bitterness toward?
So I had moved to New York and I worked there. I lived there for a year. And I'm getting to your answer. There's a reason I'm saying this. So every single day, like I would wake up. This is what my day looked like. I would wake up and my mom and I would make breakfast. She's my best friend. Like we have so much fun together. And we would walk or diva if it was raining. 'Cause my hair always had to be perfect, right? Like I was in superstar training, media training and all that. Well, yeah. And we would take a cab if it was raining.
We'll get into the media training. We're going to get into the media training.
But I would go to the studio and I would work all day.
That right there was your media training laugh.
Really?
That was your media training laugh.
Do you think I tapped into it because subconsciously I was thinking about it? I'm like, no, like every single day I was doing what I loved and I was so passionate about it. But like I gave it my all. Like I wanted music because I loved music. Like I loved music before I knew you could be famous for it, before I knew that you could be like a star or make money. Like to me, like I just wanted to sing regardless of what that looked like. And so I think I got a bitterness towards it because of how it all ended. It was taken from me. And I felt like I had worked my whole life towards something, Andrew. I gave up my teenage years, my childhood years. Not gave up. I want to reword that because I wouldn't change any bit of what I did. Like
you had crazy experience.
Not a bit of it. But when everything happened the way it did with my health and I was told like this is done for now, I was angry towards God, truthfully, and bitter towards him because I felt like you put this love in my heart. You made it so that I had blinders on everything. Like this was all I wanted. Like I'm telling you in high school, you will never find a picture or video of me drinking in high school, of me partying, of me rebelling, like none of it, because I was so focused on like, do what you need to do to be successful, like be the best artist you can be. Even when I was in the studio and they had writers for me at the time, I wasn't writing my own stuff. They would say like, oh, you can go to Times Square or like go shopping or like you can go take a lunch. And I'd be like, do you mind if I just sit in the room and observe? Because I wanted so badly to learn from the best of the best. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm in a studio with universal writers who are up the hall writing for so-and-so. And like, I'm here with them and I wanted to absorb it. And so when my health happened and I lost it, I became bitter because I was like, this is just a cruel joke. I didn't do anything wrong. I gave it my all.
Just touching on like the whole writing thing. Do you think that like is that why you are such a good writer? Like because you observed from like literal like the people who were writing the hits that we all grew up with?
100%.
Because I don't think you guys understand, like obviously you all know Hailey as like the paranormal girl, the paranormal YouTuber, but you are so good at writing a song.
You.
It's actually insane. I've witnessed you write like a banger in 5 minutes.
That's very true.
I'm not even kidding.
No, writing is like, there's very few things that I will truly like toot my own horn, so to speak, or like praise myself on. Writing music is really like, I think one of my greatest gifts in life. Like, I'm not even just saying that.
You have written songs in 5 minutes years ago that like I still walk around my house like with the hook in my head. Like I walk around singing it in my head.
I've always said, and I've always believed this in business, in anything that you're passionate about, if you are the smartest, most talented person in the room, leave the room.
I'm like, bye.
No, but like truly, you want to be surrounded by people that are like inspiring you to be better, that you can learn from, that you can grow from. And so like sitting there in the corner, Andrew, I was in the corner of the room with my little mac and cheese that I would get every day, so on brand.
Yum.
And I would sit there and I would stay silent because I never wanted them to think that I was like a disturbance, because these were like big writers coming in, right? So I would just sit there and I would watch them, and every writer wrote differently. And like it taught me so much about like creative expression and how different people write. And so I would sit there and be like, what's my writing style? And I would go home and like all night I'm writing these songs like in my room. Like actually a song that I released in 2020 called Little Black Dress, I wrote in New York in my bedroom at 16 years old, and I just released it last year for fun. But yeah, I think that that's how it started for me with writing, was just being there.
I think I remember Little Black Dress from before it was released.
Like 100%. I think, like, I played you pretty much all my unreleased songs.
They're so good. And like, you know, I'll always text you because the closest, you guys are going to think I'm actually crazy, but like I said, me and Hailey have had a rocky friendship. So like, I'm not just tooting her horn right now. Like, I'll always text you and be like, this song sounds just like you. And it's always a Taylor Swift song.
So it's funny you say that. I've never said this before.
It sounds exactly, you write just like her and you sound exactly like her.
So it's really funny you say that, because I don't know if you're familiar with the record label Cash Money Records. They had like Drake, Lil Wayne, all them.
Yeah.
And back, I don't know what year this would have been. It was like the year before I started YouTube. So maybe 2015 or 2016. I was talking with them about music and whatnot. They'd come across my stuff. And I ended up going out to meet with a few of them. And Birdman ended up saying to me that when he saw my Hustler music video, he hadn't seen anyone like me since Taylor Swift. And that was a massive, like, I'm going to get canceled for even saying that, because I know I'll never be Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is the icon. She's everything. But as someone who grew up on Taylor Swift music, like I was a Swiftie in high school. Like all that music got me through my serious great breakups and whatnot. And so hearing that was like one of those compliments for me where I was like, you don't understand. I mean, thank you. I know I'm nowhere near her level, but to just hear that that's who I remind people of is the biggest compliment I could ever get, because she is a phenomenal storyteller.
And no, I don't think that's going to get you canceled, because it's your experience. It's something someone said to you, and of course you're grateful. You're not going to be like, oh, and I'm telling you, like, you never told me that, and like I'm telling you, like, if you were to be one artist, that's who I would like.
That's a really big compliment.
Associate your music
and
with.
That's actually, it's funny you say that, because whenever people used to ask me like, what kind of music do you want to create? I would like always say, I really want to be a storyteller. I feel like music, especially for not even just the artists, but for the people who listen to it, is such a deep emotional experience. Like for me, there's two types of people. There's people who listen to the actual instrumental first and they want like a good beat, they want to feel that. And then there's the people who listen to the lyrics first and the melody and they resonate with it. I'm so lyrically driven.
I'm gonna look. Because a few times I've sent you a song and I've been like, I would think this is you. I forget what song it was. Let me look at the album. And then also,
I can do it with a broken heart. That's what you told me.
I can do it.
Goodness, I don't remember.
That was recent. That was more recent.
Yeah, you just sent me that. I'm really.
There's a song.
That's like.
There's a song on Lover. Anyway.
So yeah, like that was kind of. I had moved to New York and I was working there. I lived there for a year, and then things were really doing well for me. And every day, like I said, I was making music. I made a whole album. It was like. Again, like I said, I was doing media training and just all of these things. Like it was intense. Like when you see those shows on TV where it's like, I'm putting you through a superstar boot camp. Like it's so legit. Like even when it came down to doing the media training, like guys, it was like down to like which leg of yours looks better crossed over which leg. And we had to practice how to get in and out of the car. Cause like when
and you were like 15 at this point.
Because when
16.
paparazzi's taking pictures, you need to know like how to get out gracefully so that you don't show anything if you're in a dress, but also so that like you look.
Which is just insane for that age, because like a paparazzi taking a picture of that when you're a minor is.
Well, Andrew,
like it's insane that you need to be conscious of that.
So even looking back and like, this is not a reflection on any label or anything of the sorts, but looking back when I was recording music at 15 and like writers were giving me songs, like one of my songs was Come a Little Closer So I Can Turn You On. You already like it and the night's only just begun. Homegirl had just had like a couple kisses in her life. Like little virgin Hailey's there like, let me turn you on. And like, it's just so ironic, but it's funny because this was one of those moments where when everything went down and I went through my little like angry at the world moment,
Yeah.
I looked back now and I'm like, I'm so grateful that I didn't go into something not knowing who I was. Like, I look back at even like my rocky early 20s and whatnot. I'm like, I'm just so glad that I wasn't on like a superstar level where like I was trying to find myself in the midst of crazy fame where I didn't know myself.
Yeah, which is what happens to a lot of these child stars, and
I know how I am, and I feel like I would have been one of those who would have a documentary about like my anxiety gave me a psychotic break. And I'd have to be like,
yeah.
You know, I'm not even trying to be like, I truly believe I would have been one of those people whose anxiety would have just got the best of them. Whereas now going into the new year, I want to release music. And I'm like, but it's funny because I was telling Tyler this, I always think in the shower, right? Like that's like my thinking spot.
Me too. That's like my thinking time.
And so I'm in there thinking the other day, and I was thinking about how they told me, this is a subconscious thing that's played on my mind. But I remember when I was 15, it's funny the things that stick with you in life. Like things that people say that they don't even realize are going to be like stuck in your head 15 years later. But somebody said to me,
oh my gosh.
They said, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 15. And she said, oh, you got tons of time to make it. It's not till you're 25 that you're washed up and nobody wants you. And I looked at her and I was like, why is there? She's like, there's a cap on women in the industry. Men, this is her words, men get better after 25. Women are washed up. And I remember I absorbed that to the point that when my 25th birthday was approaching, I was like, well, say goodbye to music, Hailey. You are washed up.
And then you had me in your ear. Like when you turn 25, your back's going to go out. Your body's going to start hurting.
Honestly. But when I was thinking in the shower was like, they say that because, okay, this is just my personal opinion. A lot of people in the music industry, we've seen with recent court stuff, there can be a lot of evil in the industry, and a lot of them gravitate towards young women and young men with stars in their eyes because you'll do anything to get famous. Like you want it so badly. And I look back and I'm like, no wonder they don't want the 25-year-old woman or the 30-year-old woman because they're old enough to not tolerate that. Like they'll be like, well, no thanks.
When does your frontal lobe stop developing?
I actually don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's like 25.
I was just thinking.
So yeah, that's why, because they can mold you and they can brainwash
100%. And I remember my mom came everywhere with me, and not in a momager way. She literally sat back and let me do my thing. But when it came down to like contracts and like conversations with adults about business and money and like what I'm wearing, my mom was very much a mama bear. And so I was...
Okay, well, good, because you see these child stars. I'm pointing at my TV because I watch it on TV. But like these child stars, like... the ones who get the most fucked up are the ones whose their parents like leave them with a mentor or like someone else, and then that person corrupts them or leaves them with other people, and like, you know what I mean?
No, 100%.
No one cares as much as a mom.
And that's the thing.
No one cares as much as a mom.
In the industry, like through so many things, like I've been exploring the darkness of the industry, like Child Star is one of the shows as well, but like there's so many that have been coming out, and a lot of them will say that like they get isolated, and that's where they get groomed. They get like pushed into situations when they're put on their own so young, and they have all these people telling them like, this is what you have to do. And it's not always like that. But the unfortunate thing is that's a big part of the industry, or at least it was. I think now it's changing in a lot of ways, and the evil's being called out for what it is. But I was so lucky. Like I had my mom through all of it. And so my experience was never tainted. Everyone I worked with was incredible and like so respectful of the fact that I was 15. But even through the music, it was very obvious that like what I was selling was not a 15-year-old dream. It was like a much older fantasy.
What was like the end goal? Like what were they saying was the end goal? I know like you guys were pumping out music, but like were you guys working on an album?
Yeah, so the end goal was an album, and then it was going to be to do a press tour of releasing it. And the main goal for the label was to get me as an opener on somebody's big tour, and then break it that way, and then through that start going. But around this time, so as the years went on, so let's say around 17, 18, I now moved to LA, still working on music. And
how long did you live in LA?
I lived in LA from 17 to 19, so 2 years.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I was living in LA and Tyler was living in Miami. And we were like 17-year-old jet setters. Like I look back, one time we got in a fight, and I booked an airplane flight and flew to Miami, and I was telling the cab driver, and he waited outside because he was sure I was going to walk up to another woman in Tyler's room. He was like, you shouldn't do this. If you're fighting, don't show up at his house. Like, because I'm like, I flew from LA. But yeah, I was living in LA. He was living in Miami. And it's so crazy how the universe works. So right before the album was set to launch, okay, the album's done.
Your album.
My album. So
Wait. So that's how far into the development it got? Like you had the songs picked, like
No, so we hadn't picked like the single yet. We hadn't picked like what we were going to push. We'd put out a couple of songs over the years like Hustler, and we were getting ready to release the album and start looking at what that was going to look like. So we hadn't had the meetings of like nothing was set in stone for like a press tour or like a launch or like a single or any of that. But I had a whole body of music done. It was going to get down to like picking the actual album.
as far as like tracks like 1 through 13, like did you have those picked out or
No, I just
no,
had
okay.
like, I think 25-ish solid songs. And it was like, now we got to pick the babies and pick what works. People don't understand. Like I even see on TikTok now when people are like, release this now. And the artist is like, I wish it has to like be pre-sale and then has to release like this. Like there's so much strategy that goes in behind it. And so many people, like it's a machine. Like the music industry is a hard, like it's a hard one to break into, or at least it was before like TikTok and all of that. And so the irony of it all is that I was invited to the Grammys, not obviously for any attendance purposes, but I was allowed to go and like be just in attendance as like an audience member and be there with everyone. Yeah. And the crazy thing is my 19th birthday fell on the same Grammy weekend. And in Canada, that's your legal drinking age. And so when you're young, you look forward to your 19th birthday. Like it sounds silly, but it's like your 21st here, right? I really wanted to fly back and have at least a little sense of normalcy. Like that was, because at the time I'm just doing music. All my friends are going to prom and like thinking about university and college. And I'm there like living the dream. And so I was like, I really want a moment of normalcy. I want to go back to Canada for the weekend and I want to celebrate with my friends. I remember being on the plane and thinking to myself, like, was that a really big mistake? Like, should I have stayed and done that for my career? But then I'm like, no, it'll be good.
Right.
And that weekend, Tyler and he had booked a room away in Niagara Falls with our friends. And I just got a really bad sharp pain in my shoulder before we checked into the hotel. And I thought I pulled a muscle. But come to find out a few days later, my left lung had collapsed. We didn't realize it at the time how bad it was, but it's called spontaneous pneumothorax. And essentially, it's a spontaneous collapsing of the lung that they just can't explain. Like it didn't happen. And
as a hypochondriac, that's even worse.
Terrible. Actually, that's where my medical anxiety came from. I ended up going to the hospital. They're like, all right, we're going to put a tube in you. They sent me home. I'll save the details, but it just failed a million times. I ended up having to go on lung support. And I was hooked up to that for like a month. My lung would not reinflate.
So were you like bedridden at that time?
I was hospitalized. Yeah. Not that I think anyone's dumb listening to this, but just to explain it for those who might not know, when your lung collapses, your chest fills with air.
I don't.
And so you essentially are suffocating from the inside. And so my lung was collapsing so much that it was collapsing onto my trachea and onto my other lung. So like everything in my chest was moving and collapsing and my chest was filling with so much air. So they put me on suction, and this was the scariest thing of my life. What happens when they put you on suction is now a machine sucks the air out of your chest, but you have to learn to breathe with it. And so for like, it was probably only 30 seconds, but it felt like a minute. I lost all the air in my chest. I was going, and they were saying, learn to breathe, Hailey, breathe. And it felt like I was going to die. But then all of a sudden you learn to like breathe with it.
That's crazy.
So I remember I had one nurse, she was so rude. And she was like, don't get too comfortable. Like your lung's going to reinflate in a day and you'll be out of here. And then a month later, she was like, I don't know why your lung's not working. And I was like, well, join the club.
At what point, if at all, at this point, were you like, my music career, like what's going to happen there? Like,
yeah. So
at what point did you start questioning like if it's going to happen or if this was hindering your career? Yeah.
Yeah. So the entire time that I was in there, I kept asking all the doctors and nurses, like, will I be able to sing again? Will I be able to sing again? And I remember, I realized things were really bad. There was one day where I was in bed, and I'm very optimistic. Like I'm one of those people who tries to see like the positive.
Me too.
If you tell me I'm dying, I'm going to tell you, well, I'm going to find a way not to. Like I'm just very like, until it's over, I'm not counting it over. So I remember I was sitting up and like laughing and trying to keep my spirits high, and a nurse came in and she said, I need you to lay down. I don't think you understand. Like you are a very, very sick little girl. And I was like, oh. And she left the room, and I could hear her telling my mom, like, there's a chance she might not make it. Like her body is not responding to treatment. Chance of needing the surgery is so slim. In fact, Andrew, if you look up a bilectomy that I ended up having, they don't do bulectomies typically unless you've had multiple lung collapsings. It's a last resort because once you do this surgery, there's no reversal. I realized when they were telling me like she might not make it that this was like beyond music. Like I kept saying like, what's going on with the music? Like, are we releasing this? Like, what's going on? And everyone just kept saying like, you just focus on getting better. And you know, when you can see like the look in someone's eyes, like, yeah, you're really worried about me. They kept saying like, we're going to just put the project on hold.
Who was saying that? The nurses or the...
No, like my team. Like everyone was saying like, let's just revisit this. Like you just focus on getting better. Let's revisit it. And no one really wanted to tell me that because they didn't want to upset me. Because literally like, imagine crying. Like you see how I cry. I'm a hyperventilator. Like imagine my lung doing that, right? So they didn't want me to cry. So everyone's just trying to be like, it'll be there when like things are better, whatever. And actually at this time, I had been asked by someone at Universal Canada to go into a writing room and start writing with other artists. And one of their artists at the time was Shawn Mendes.
Oh my
Just keep that in mind.
God.
Yeah. So I didn't have anything like set up with him specifically, but he was in those writing rooms. And just looking back, like what a disappointment that I didn't get to like work with those people. But in my head, I'm like, this guy, Shawn Mendes, because at the time he was just starting to pop off here in Canada. And so everyone's like, he's the next big thing. We got to get you guys in the studio. And I'm there like, so when's this happening? And they're like, Hailey, just focus on getting better. So I remember the doctor came in and he was with another doctor and he was like, we're going to need to operate. And my mom goes, so when she has this little surgery, and he's like, this is not a little surgery. What they did is they scraped and cut half of my lung. They cut off all the bad of it. So like all of the like junk on it. Then they put like a powder on your lung and they glue it to your rib cage. So essentially when my other lung is reinflating and my rib cage is expanding, my lung has no choice but to expand with it. This time in my life, Andrew, was like a movie in all forms. Like what it started as with like moving to New York and then going to Florida and going to LA and then oh, your lungs collapsed and now you're going in for surgery. Like it was all like a movie.
They always say like tour, like people who go on tour, it's really like, it could be really depressing because you're going out on stage and like the energy is like insane and everyone's screaming your name and everything's moving so fast. And then like you get right off, like you rush off stage to leave before everyone and you either get on your bus or you go in your hotel room and then you're just alone in silence. It's like those crazy like adrenaline levels that are like so unbalanced because you have all this adrenaline, people screaming your name, the energy is insane, and then you're just alone in a hotel room. It could be really depressing. So that's kind of like how that was. Like you're going to LA, to Florida, to New York, writing, like you're going to be the next Taylor Swift, you're going to be huge. And then all of a sudden you're just laying in a hospital bed for a month.
It was really humbling. And I just remember laying there. I actually wrote a poem in one of my old notes on my phone because it was the first time that I realized like death doesn't care how hard you worked. Death doesn't care what's in your bank account, how talented you are, how much good you've done. When it's coming, it's coming. I had so much anxiety prior to this that I promised God, I was like, if I come through this, like I'm going to start living. And it's ironic looking back now because I did for those years. And then in my like mid-20s, I went back to like pre-surgery me of like anxiety and like letting outside voices contribute. But it was really humbling. It was like one of those moments where I was like, what the hell? And the OR was flooded, right? So my surgery wasn't scheduled. I was one of those people that was emergency. So people who had like scheduled surgeries, they were calling them like, you need to be moved. Like I needed to get one of the very first surgery spots because my lung was just not responding at all. And I remember I have a bunch of piercings, like 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have like almost 10 piercings. So
do you? Wait, are they all in your... What's the craziest one you have?
Andrew! I'm not saying.
Is it...
You know.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do I really know? I think I forget.
You're such a...
I erased you from my memory at one point. Hello, Sidetracked listeners. I'm so sorry to interrupt this video with this extremely professional ad break, but here we are. I don't know what part of the episode you guys are in, but I hope you're enjoying it. It took a lot to post this. Very scary topics. Very scary. It was basically just me and Hailey having a conversation about our past public traumas and then posting it. But we love Hailey here. Make sure you guys leave all positive comments. Be nice to her. It's my first guest, and I really want to set the tone for future guests. So With that being said, I just wanted to ask you guys, have you ever signed up for a free trial and then you forgot about it? And then you wind up like paying it for months without realizing? That's where Rocket Money really comes into play. It is such a game changer for me. I think with the start of the new year, where it has us all thinking about organizing our life, especially our finances. Thanks to Rocket Money, I've been able to get like a clear view on all my finances and where all my money is going and stop any unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money is a personalized finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills so you can grow your savings that you've been working on for so long. With Rocket Money, you can see all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going, cancel subscriptions you don't need or want anymore, and Rocket Money can even do it for you. So that actually makes it a lot easier. For real. You can also create a personalized budget with custom categories to help keep your spending on track. Plus, Rocket Money's new goals feature makes saving money easier. Whether you want to pay off debt, save for a house, or build your emergency fund, they've got it covered, you guys. Rocket Money has already helped over 5 million users save a total of $500 million, with members saving up to $740 a year by using the app's premium features. That is, you know what that is? That is a whole lot of money. For me, Rocket Money found and uncovered one of the subscriptions I was paying for and completely forgot about. It was a streaming service that I got. And it was literally, I just got it just to stream one show and then I completely forgot about it. But with Rocket Money, I canceled it in seconds and started saving money right away. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate it for you. They'll deal with the customer service so you don't have to. Look, for all the anxiety girlies out there, that really comes in handy, because making a phone call and fighting with someone on the phone, that can be very stressful for us, you know what I mean? They've got it covered. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/sidetracked today. That is rocketmoney.com/sidetracked. rocketmoney.com/sidetracked. Now let's get back to this very scary episode where you guys are going to leave so much love in the comments for Hailey. Start it.
Anyways, which, for those listening, I do not have my girly part pierced, so don't even start running with that one. They came up and they were like, "You're the next surgery slot. Take out all your jewelry." And specifically, my tragus piercing was stuck, and my mom couldn't get it out. And I don't like being late to things. I don't like leaving people waiting. So I'm yelling at her. I'm like, "Just get it out of my ear. Like, get it out." And we're fighting, right? Like, not really fighting, but you know when you're stressed.
Mom and daughter,
and then they wheel me away, and I say goodbye. And then I'm basically being read that, like, you could die in this surgery, like, this is really serious. Like, basically I had to sign a paper saying, like, I understand the risks of my surgery. And I'm like, oh my God, my mother and I just fought and I'm gonna die, and that's gonna be her memory of me, is like, my daughter's a brat. Like, that's all she's gonna think about. And so the surgeon comes over and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna mark you." He marked my right side, and I'm like, "Sir, it's my left lung." And he goes, "Silly me." And he goes and marks my left hand. Now, Andrew, I'm there trying to like scrub it off, because all I could think about was they're going to mess up. They're going to do the wrong lung, whatever. So he says to me, he's like, "Is there anyone you want me to call when you're out of surgery?" And I'm like, "Can you call my mama and tell her I love her?" And I'm like, "And I'm sorry, I was so mean." And he's like, "Sure, okay." And I'm like, "Tell her I love her. And if I don't make it," he's like, "Okay." Like, the poor man was just so over it.
That's insane.
Am I good?
Though. Like,
yeah. Oh, you want to hear something crazy? So my spiritual self was going into surgery, and I'm thinking, this is a opportunity. I'm going to have an out-of-body experience. Like, this is what I'm thinking.
When you were under, how did it feel like time elapsed, or did it feel like you closed your eyes and opened your eyes?
Andrew, have you ever had surgery?
Knock on wood.
Oh, I thought no. Something was wrong. You looked so concerned. So
because I don't like to say it.
This was my first surgery, and my last.
I had eye surgery, but I was awake for it.
Yeah, but eye surgery scares me even more. That's so freaky.
They clamped my eye open, and they had to, sorry, guys, if you get grossed out, just go like 10 seconds ahead. They had to cut the clear layer off and peel it back.
While you were awake?
All completely awake.
Andrew, that gives me so much anxiety.
Like, I was talking to, like, having conversations the whole time.
Oh, that gives me so much anxiety. But what was crazy is, like, you know, like you've seen in the movies, like, we're going to count down from 10, like 10, 9.
Yeah.
She didn't even do that for me. She put it on my mouth, and the scariest thing, I was just gone. It was crazy, though, because I was so determined to be okay that I was supposed to spend 2 nights in ICU. And I ended up getting to sleep in my room that night because I was just so like coherent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were you back in Canada at this point?
Yeah, so this is the whole point that I was getting at with The Universe Works Funny is if I had been in the States at the time at the Grammys, my lung would have collapsed there. And imagine the medical bill. Imagine the irony that I had been in the States 90% from 15 to 19. And the weekend I go back, my lung collapses. It was like divine timing. Like it couldn't have been any better because I didn't have to pay for a single thing.
I know you do, but like take everything as a blessing because you never know like what paths or what roads you could have gone down in the music industry with how dark it is. Like Diddy, like that whole.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I mean?
That's
So, like,
that's what I was touching on earlier. Is like it was a very evil industry, especially back then when things were kept very hush hush. And for those of you who want to know the tea, I was told about the Illuminati.
Yeah, you always told me that.
But like, just that it's real and stuff. But like, it was a very.
You were approached at like a red.
I wasn't approached. I was never approached by them. I was warned, but like, I was never approached by the Illuminati. But it was just like it's a crazy industry. So I look at everything like we don't know the like undisclosed blessings, right? And so I think it was all how it was meant to go. But it was a wild time, and I remember my mom telling them like she can't fly. I think it was 3 months minimum, 6 months recommended. And so we left it on, we're going to stop working together on music right now for me to heal and recover. And then we can always revisit. Like I always kept every connection. Okay. I'm still in contact with producers from my time at Universal.
I learned what this meant. You always told me you got shelved.
I got shelved,
and
that means you're put on the
like
shelf.
They kind of just put you on a shelf and they
revisit you later. But like when you get shelved.
Now, really quick, before we go any further, I want to circle back to the Illuminati thing really quick because I think a lot of people find that interesting. Are you allowed to say like what the warning consisted of, like what they said to you?
Yeah. No, they were just basically saying that a lot of people in power run the industry and that you'll get to a point in success where it's like you kind of feel like you have to join in because if you don't, everybody's kind of at that level and whatnot. I was 15 years old, just trying to like focus on my career. I didn't ask any of the good questions. Like they were just like, I think, I don't know if I brought it up or someone else did as like a joke about it. And then they were like, no, like that's a very real thing. There are people in cahoots, very high in power in very powerful industries, not exclusive to the music industry. And
like behind the curtain?
Oh, especially behind the curtain. Most of the people who are in front of the curtain are like the face of it all, but it's so much bigger than that, right? And
so like would you consider someone like Diddy like in front of the curtain or behind the curtain?
That's a really interesting thing to say because he's both, I would say. From what I've been reading, okay. I haven't even been able to dig deep into that because it's so sick. Like I did the slightest bit of research into it and I couldn't even dig deeper because it is so sick. But I think he's a bit of both. He's a face in the industry, but also like when you hear about the alleged behind the scenes things that he was doing, insanity. And like even looking back, but I would say like it's just they basically just said there are people in power that try to have control over the industry and essentially you were better off. Well, you'll feel that you're better off to have to be in like good standing with all those people.
Does that go hand in hand with the thanking Beyonce type of thing?
So, oh my God, I just went down that rabbit hole. That's crazy. I don't know what that means, guys, and I wish I did. I don't know.
So guys, if you're unfamiliar, I'm sure a lot of you know, but if you're unfamiliar, basically it's become a joke now, of course, like with Gen Z, like everyone says like thank Beyonce because at so many award shows, specifically like Grammys but even like other award shows, everyone thanks Beyonce in their speech and they feel that if you don't thank Beyonce, she's in such high power that she will end your career. Or some people go crazy and say like even your life. But
I was told by people like, okay, not necessarily told. People were talking that I knew that were like Beyonce and Jay-Z are the head of music industry. Like they just like, they're at the top of the top that you can get.
Right.
But I have seen videos where people say like, I have to thank Beyonce. And that one's crazy to me because it's like, why do you have to? I promise that I wish I had more answers to this. Like I really do. I wish I had more answers. Just at the time, I didn't have that like hat on to be like, tell me more. Like I want all the secrets. I was just like, oh, that's kind of wild. That's real. But like one thing that somebody allegedly told me was that how a lot of it is controlled is that if you don't want to be a part of anything with them, a lot of them run like the magazines, the tabloids, and you'll get really bad publicity because if you're not with them, you're against them. Right. But who knows, right? Yeah. This was also 10 plus years ago.
Allegedly.
Okay. Don't quote me. Like Andrew said, I'm a liar.
Yeah, she's a compulsive liar, guys. Literally don't believe anything she says.
Don't worry, Beyonce. I'm a liar.
No.
But yeah.
At this point, she wasn't a compulsive liar
No.
yet.
You know someone's going to run with that. You know that there's always someone.
No, she's not, guys.
There's somebody watching who's going to be like, I knew it. I knew it.
No, we're going to get into our crumbling friendship. And
yeah. I mean, we're basically at the end of the story. So I ended up just deciding not to do music for a bit. I remember I was asking the doctor, I was like, so when can I sing again? And they would tell me that's not your priority. Like, you need to focus on breathing. Like, my breathing, I had to learn to breathe again. I was on so many lung medications. It was insane. I still am. And I just remember I would try to sing and I couldn't because I didn't have enough air at the time. So I'd be like, and like it wouldn't come out, and all I could think was I'm never gonna sing again. And like I said, guys, I had no backup plan. I had no plan B. I hadn't pursued a college or university degree. I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life. So I fell into a really big depression, and that's kind of where my YouTube career started. Was I needed money, obviously. And so I started.
You're doing this. You're not letting me ask any questions. Like, you're doing it too perfectly, and I'm gonna look like a bad.
Oh shit! Okay, go ahead. I'm just trying to.
No, I'm kidding.
No, because I feel like I'm talking too much about it that I want to like get to the end for you.
No, I was complimenting you. Like, I was gonna say, okay, like, let's get into where you started YouTube, and you just go right into it.
Okay. I'm just trying to like finish the thought for you guys so we can get in. I know they're like, we want the juicy stuff.
I love it. You're too good.
Going back, when I had stopped everything, I was like, what am I gonna do with my life? So I started nannying and babysitting. And at that time, that's when I babysat the possessed child. And 100% true story. I changed a couple of details that were irrelevant to the integrity of the story just for privacy reasons. But at that time, I'm in my room and I'm like so creatively suppressed, Andrew. Like, I'm being told it's in your best interest not to sing for a while. Like,
it's literally like what I said before, like going on tour. It's crazy. Like, your life's going a million miles per hour, and then you're sitting on in an empty hotel room, like, depressed. It's just like that.
Yeah.
Like, you were building up, you were being told you're going to be the next huge star, and you're so excited. You have all these life plans, like, and then one day it's just completely over, and you're babysitting in your hometown.
Oh yeah, I had such a humble moment. I became a nanny, and I remember, I feel like I could say this now. I highly doubt they're ever going to see this video, but like, the mom who I nannied for was very specific, and as she should be. She was paying me, but in between, so like the 2 hours of day that I had in his napping, she at one point wanted me to steam the floors. But she wanted me specifically to take 10.
Wait. Were you being... Hold on. So you were the nanny, but she was having you do chores?
Dishes, make the bed, do
normal?
the laundry.
That's not normal.
Some nannies do that, yeah. But this is where it gets bizarre, is she wanted me to specifically hold the steamer 10 seconds per square inch. So like when the...
You're lying.
Andrew, God strike me dead. So she would have me like stand there for 10 seconds per square inch. Sorry guys, my headphones died for a minute there, so I gotta wear these clunkers. I look like a recording artist. I'm just embracing my singing era.
You do, yeah. Oh, we should have had that on the whole time. It really would have made everyone...
It would have made it believable.
You could have put like the AirPods in your nose with the wire for like when you were in the hospital.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
The props, it would have been...
Oh my God.
Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity at its finest. But yeah, so she would have me do like 10 seconds per square inch, which is fine. But obviously, like in the beginning, I wasn't doing 10 seconds per inch. I was normally steaming the floors as one would. And I'll never forget, she came home one day and she was like, Hailey, can you sit down for a second? And I was thinking, like, what did I do wrong? And she was like, I can just tell you're not taking the full 10 seconds per square. So like, if we could just count in our head while we do it. And I'm like, noted. And so here I am, cleaning someone else's floors, changing someone else's beautiful baby's diaper. And like, you know, I'm changing dirty diapers, I'm doing dishes, I'm doing laundry, I'm cleaning the floors. And like 6 months ago, a year ago, I'm in a recording studio, like working with the top of the top. And so imagine, like and it wasn't even like, oh, I'm living a normal life. It wasn't that. It was like, what now?
I totally get what you mean, though, on like a way smaller scale, because back when we used to do the soul sibling stuff, and, you know, I had maybe 10,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
We were posting these videos that were getting millions of views. we're going to get into this of like, you know, how we didn't realize how big it got. But essentially, I was recognized the most in public around that
100%.
time. Like when I had way less subscribers, and we would go to playlists, we would go to all these events, we would do all this crazy stuff. I'm meeting fans in Target. Like it was crazy. And then I would go to work in Chili's and people would be like spitting on my shoe because I didn't put enough lemons in their Diet Coke. It really made me start hating like Chili's because I was like, this sucks. Like I'm literally cleaning up people's snotty tissues. Like when I'm making more money on social media, but that's just the whole.
I think it's also like when you know, not that you're like destined for more, but like for me, it was like I had such big dreams and big goals to be back in someone else's house, like playing house for them essentially. It was like, these are the things that I hoped I would do for my own family and my own self when I was further along in my career and in my life. So it was this like really humbling moment of, so where do we start now? Where do we go now? And I remember with YouTube, I used to think to myself, like, I can talk for hours. Like clearly you guys can tell. I don't know when to stop talking. And I've been like that since I was little. And I remember thinking like, if anybody can talk to a camera alone in their room, it's me. I can do it.
Yeah, you are good at it. Like getting on a FaceTime with you is like,
it's just fun.
A 3-hour
like,
thing.
I know it's so funny because I get offended because people will like purposely avoid answering my calls because they know it's never quick. And even when I say it'll be quick,
I have done that.
Yeah,
before.
I know you have.
I've done that before.
I know you have, but I know. But it was just one of those moments. And so I babysat the possessed child, and around this time, I'm like, I'm gonna start YouTube, because I'm like, what else can I do, right? Like I can't sing, I can't travel, so I started YouTube.
Well, you can sing. Well, like
at the time, I couldn't. So Andrew, I don't know if you know this. I started off trying to do lifestyle, but like DIYs. And at the time I was so poor, right? Like I'm nannying now. So avocados are expensive. And I wanted to do an avocado hair mask, but I was so cheap that I wanted to keep half of it to eat and the other half for my DIY. Andrew, it was so skimpy in the video, but I deleted it and I wish I still had it. And people were like, if you're going to do an avocado hair mask, like, don't be cheap. Like, those are my only comments. And it wasn't popping off. And I did it for like a month. And I was like, this is not working for me. Like, and it's because I didn't know what to do. But then I posted my I babysat a possessed child video. I finally told the story and it blew up. And that video just changed my life. And in that video...
So that was your first paranormal video you posted?
Very first. And in the video, I said, I believe in this stuff because I grew up in a haunted house. And everyone was like, I want to hear about it. Like that video got 1 million views so quick. That video went viral for me in February of 2017. And by the summer, I hit 100,000 followers. By the end of the year, I was moved out into my own condo.
And so this was 2017
2017, yeah. I was 21.
Because that's the year we became friends? Wait, that's crazy that's the year we became friends.
Right when my YouTube started popping off.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you last night on FaceTime. Like, you were at the start of my story on YouTube. Like, the very beginning of it.
That's crazy. I started Andrew TMI in 2017.
That was a lucky year for us. Hey, let's fingers crossed that 2017 was a lucky year for us and 2025 is going to be a lucky... We say this every year, guys.
That's why I'm laughing. Me and Hailey, every year, we're like, this is going to be our year.
You know what?
It is.
Here's the thing. Every year from 2020 to 2023... even 2023, I kept saying like, this is my year. And it'd be like, maybe next year. 2024 was the first year that I actually found my way back to myself. Like going into the new year, I'm like, I'm Hailey again. But yeah, I ended up doing YouTube. It blew up and I started doing my haunted house series. And it was like a whirlwind. It happened so quick. But what's wild is I had met Loie because I covered a story called Dear David.
So question, wait really quick before we get into that. Your channel blew up. You posted that first video, blew up. The very next video you posted was the haunted house one?
I believe so. I'd have to go back and look. I can't remember, but that was my next like thing. So I posted the babysat a possessed child video. And then after that, I'm pretty sure I started right into my haunted house series.
I'm thinking more like lifestyle, not like a lifestyle video, but like your lifestyle wise, like your nannying. At what point were you like, oh damn, like I'm making money from YouTube?
Oh, good question. So I had been babysitting, and so actually, you're getting the tea here. No one really knows my journey before this. At the time, I was nannying. I was babysitting, which are like two separate things. So when I had the nanny gig, I was literally with him from morning when he woke up till night. I wasn't live-in, so I would go home at night. But like morning to night, I was with him. I ended up leaving that job because the mom was having another baby, so she was going to take time off. And I ended up just babysitting. And I was also working on the weekends at Tyler's parents' bar.
Right, that I know.
So and people online, I don't think really know that. His parents own a Portuguese bar / restaurant. And so I was working there on weekends, and I was the absolute worst server you could ever have. That's a whole other story for a whole other day, but I did my best. And I saved that money in a cash box in my bedroom, in my bathroom. That's when I bought all my camera equipment. So I ended up blowing up on YouTube, and I was working at Tyler's parents' bar on the weekends. I was working at a real estate office as a secretary for 4 weeks in the summer.
That I didn't know.
So my channel blew up. It started in February. By the summer, I was at 100,000. I think by September, October, I stopped babysitting. But what people don't know is I kept working on the weekends at Tyler's parents' bar because it was like also a favor, like helping them out, for about a year into my YouTube success.
Yeah, I remember we were like doing Soul Siblings videos, and you were still like covering shifts.
I was covering shifts.
And I thought that was so cool because like you had hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You were making so much money.
Yeah.
And you would still like cover
and
shifts there.
And it's funny because it's a Portuguese bar, right? So like most of the people there would have actually 99% would have no clue anything social media, right? Like they're older people. Right. Did you get recognized a lot at Chili's?
Yes.
Was that like such a weird experience?
Yeah, that's like everything. Like I think I might have said this in my last episode, but like growing up, I always wanted to be famous. I didn't even care about the money.
Yeah.
So like being recognized, just that was like everything I ever wanted.
I love that for you.
So it was so exciting. Like I loved it. And that's why still to this day, like I don't care if I'm crying.
Yeah.
Like come up to me and say hi.
I'm the same way.
Because like that's
I've never understood the influencers who you hear like they want nothing to do with the people that watch them and like they're so snooty. I understand things get overwhelming.
Yeah, it's definitely I've definitely seen a lot of that, especially at like playlists like.
But it just got to a
craziness.
point that they didn't need the help anymore, so they hired somebody else. And then YouTube was just kind of it for me. We live in a time where nobody has an attention span anymore. Like if you're not producing the content, they're on to the next. I think when we started YouTube, it was a lot more loyal to like who they watched. Like at least to me, like I watched Trisha. Like that was my YouTube. I would refresh her page. Like I loved watching her be a chicken nugget. Like
I'm meeting her in a week again. We met her together. Guys, when I always talk about how I met Trisha in 2018, that was with Hailey.
Can we tell them about the fact that I knew we were going to meet her? I manifested that.
Can you tell them about how the interaction went down of when she saw us and we saw her?
So,
because like I feel like they think I'm lying.
Okay, so I had a feeling. We were going, where did we go? Was it not Malibu? Where was it? It wasn't normal LA.
I think it was Malibu.
Might have been Malibu.
It was Malibu, I think.
We had gotten a hotel room. It was the three of us. And all day we knew that we were going to go to this hotel that night. And I just kept saying like, guys, I think we're going to see Trisha Paytas. And at the time, like Andrew and I, you don't understand. We shared a love for her. Like we would sit there and like obsess over her. So he's like, Hailey, don't say that if you don't think it. I'm like, I'm getting the vibes. I feel like we're going to meet Trisha Paytas. And even Loy was like, I don't know if she'll be out there. Like that's such a random spot to be. I think we had just got there. We were outside. Maybe we were going to go eat or something, but we were standing there and this convertible pulls up and I looked over. They were talking and I look over and you can't mistake Trisha Paytas. Okay. Like there's no mistaking her. And I'm like, Andrew, it's Trisha. It's Trisha. And you're like, okay, Hailey, like you weren't taking it serious. And you looked up and you were like, it's Trisha. And we're all there and I'm like, this is the best day of my life. So we kind of like walked towards her and I don't know, was it Loey who said hi? Like, hi.
Well, I think Loey like was walking toward her and then
she was like, oh, hey. I'm going to look at the camera for this because it was iconic.
It was when I took my sunglasses off. She saw you and then I took my sunglasses off.
Andrew, I'm meeting the whole crew. And Andrew and I looked at each other and we're like, she knows who we are. Like she knows.
And we had to keep our cool.
Oh, we kept it so cool, calm, and collected. You guys would think that like we were 14-year-old girls back in the day who had just met Justin Bieber because we went back to the room and we're like, I can't believe it.
I remember in the hallway, like
you were bouncing off the walls.
Fell into the wall and like I fell into the wall and like slid.
And you're telling me like, Hailey, I saw stars. And it was funny because out of the three of us, I was like, I'm pulling out my vlog camera because I've watched enough Trisha to know that like she wouldn't mind. It's not like it was like a personal moment. I'm like, she vlogs.
Did you vlog it? Did you
it's
vlog
on my
it?
channel, my Daily Hailey.
Us meeting Trisha?
Literally.
Yeah,
and I go, Trisha. And you guys are there. And she's like, hi. Like, she like says hi to my vlog and everything. And I'm like, this is so exciting. And after you guys were like, I can't believe we didn't vlog that. And I'm like, I did.
I blacked out.
You were like, you didn't even remember what you said.
I still didn't even know you vlogged
and we
it.
were in there, and I just remember I was on the bed like, she knew you, Andrew. She said, oh, Andrew, I'm meeting the whole crew.
I can't believe there's footage of me with her.
There is. I'll literally show you it.
I guess we'll get into the soul sibling stuff. I think, looking back on it, it was a very cringy name.
The soul siblings? We were young. It was cute.
We were in our 20s.
I mean, imagine if it had continued forever and we were like in our 40s and we're like, soul siblings.
The soul siblings.
Stop. We're so cute.
Me, literally, I'm almost in my 40s.
Guys, literally, not to get sidetracked. Should I do the choo-choo?
The soul siblings, it was a crazy time.
Yeah.
And like I've said a million times already, we didn't realize how big it was, how many views we were getting. And we didn't realize that. You said this yesterday and you hit the nail on the head because it was so genuine. Mm-hmm. We were all just friends filming together, and we never took a step back to be like, we're getting millions of views.
This is so much bigger than us. Like,
we were offered that TV show, and like,
it was really
crazy.
Huge. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think that's a testament, Andrew, to how genuine that period in our lives was. Like, looking back now, there's so many people who have tried to like discredit the authenticity of our friendship. And when I look back on it, I'm like, I didn't even realize the business aspect of it, or like what we were, that we were a business, like the three of us together.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize it at the time because to me, I was having the most fun with my two best friends in the whole world. Oh my God, I could get emotional talking about this. Whenever I think about it, it makes me like happy, sad, but also sad because like those were some of the best days of my life, running around LA with you two, filming, like just like we had so much fun. That it wasn't until years later when I was like pulled back from it and I looked at it kind of like from the outside where I was like, holy shit, we really did something there. Like that was really something special.
We got like a little inkling when we went to our first playlist live after the Soul Siblings started, and we were in the green room and influencers in the green room were coming up to us and asking for pictures. And I was like,
and I think if the three of us had been together, like if it would have been even crazier because everyone knew us as like the trio, right? And it was just you and I there at the time. But that was the first time that Andrew and I were like, hold on a minute. We're in a creator lounge and we're like doing a photo op.
People are asking for pictures.
Like there were people, I ended up meeting some really cool creators and the girl was like, I am like the biggest fan of you. And when I went to go follow her and I went to her Twitter, it literally said like, oh my fucking God, I'm in the same room as Hailey Reese. Please, like I'm freaking out. And I'm like, what? You have millions.
You want to know who follows me? Who, and I'm pretty sure she follows you. And I think she was a fan before she was massively famous. Selena Spooky Boo.
Stop it! Isn't she Canadian? Is she Canadian?
But she has followed me for. She's followed me for years now, and she has like 30 million followers.
You're getting another paranormal girl on your side.
I don't need any more paranormal. Like, I don't need any more paranormal girls. She follows you, right?
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so.
On Instagram, she has to.
I don't think so.
If she follows me.
Okay, but Andrew, people don't just follow you for the spooky stuff.
Yeah, but her name is Selena Spooky Boo. Like,
you would think, right?
You know what I mean?
You would be surprised. No, she doesn't. You'd be surprised. Not a lot of paranormal people like
follow
me.
Anymore.
Not that I'm saying she doesn't like me. I'm just saying like you'd be surprised.
Oh, she does follow me.
A lot of people don't follow me that you would think.
Oh, I know. I was fighting people left and right on Twitter for you constantly.
You know what's funny? I used to always think of myself as like a universal type gal, no pun intended. Like I felt like I could get along with anyone that like people like, I don't know. I've never saw myself as unlikable. Like, and not like in a cocky way, just like I sit at home playing Zoo Tycoon. Like I'm really not that problematic. Right. But when it comes down to it, I learned over the years of social media that I'm just really an acquired taste.
No, it's not. It's not that. And this comes down to your media training. And I tell a lot of my friends this in social media. Like, you have to be yourself on camera, because if you're not, people are going to hold you to this fake standard that you are not.
Yeah.
And if you try to act constant, and I'm not just saying I'm saying,
you know, I don't take offense.
If you try to act like the nice girl all the time, if you have one break where you seem like a bitch, everyone is going to be like, are you kidding me? Like, there's so much stuff I could say and people expect it from me and they think it's funny because they know I'm just kidding and I say that stuff. And,
but I can't.
You know, I have a more crazy sense of humor, but like you or, you know, other people can't, and they're canceled left and right for blinking the wrong way because you molded yourself into this perfect
person.
person.
And I think like for so long, I never really understood the like weight behind that for me, because I never tried to pretend to be perfect. I was just very professional in my videos because that was what I was always
You came right out of media training.
To do. Yeah. Like I was always taught to like show your best foot forward, right? Like I never thought like, let me take a camera and record my mental breakdown, right? I was one of those people who would have it, pull my thoughts together and then express it and articulate it in a really wonderful way. But I would always try to tell people like, hey guys, I swear in real life. Hey guys, I'm not a saint.
No.
But they never took it because they never saw it. They never like understood.
I know. They don't, and not in a bad way, but they don't understand how like you could be friends with me. But like we're so similar when the camera, like you're hilarious. You're like so normal. Like you'll be telling a story. You'll be like, Andrew, like this girl at the store was such a fucking bitch.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're funny. Like, but like obviously I get it though. And I've said this in previous videos. People thought it was so funny, but like in your paranormal videos, you're not going to be like the fucking ghost.
Could you imagine?
You know?
Like, and then this motherfucker comes up and like, could you imagine?
Yeah,
like it's just not who I am. And like, I've always been like, I'm the type of girl too. Like, I know the appropriate setting for things. That's just how I've always been. So like, I can like throw down with you at a party, get into like crazy shit with you, and then go with Tyler's family the next day and be making lunch with his grandmothers and not say a single curse word and be the most polite. Like, I just know the time and place for things. And I never felt like my channel with my content was the time or place. But then when I started vlogging and doing more videos with you, people were like, so who's the real Hailey? And I'm like, but both are. Like, genuinely both are.
And I feel bad because like the same thing kind of happened with Sam.
People get an idea of who they think you are, and then the second, and I find it's worse nowadays, the second that you give someone like a little hint that you're not that, they take it and they run. And it becomes this like wild story. Like even going back to the soul siblings thing, some of the theories as to why everything went down the way that it did, I was shocked. Like things that people were accusing me of having done.
Let's give more context here.
Okay,
so
let's give some context.
The soul siblings was me, Hailey, and Loey. And
can I say how we started quickly? Like how it became quick?
Yeah.
So
of course.
I had already, because I want to clear this up. I was talking to Andrew on social media at the same time that I had first started talking to Loey as well. So a lot of people think that I became friends with Andrew through Loey, but Andrew and I were already talking before. I just want to say that ahead of time. And we actually, if we went back to our old DMs, we started talking about music initially. We weren't even talking about YouTube as much. And
no, we were talking about music. That's how it started.
Loey and I hit it off really well. I had done the Dear David video, and then she did it as well and gave me a shout out, which was like, at the time, insane to me. I think I had just over 100,000 subscribers, and she had over 1 million.
Loey had over 1 million.
And I was like, holy, you know, go ahead.
And Loey and I met on a body positivity panel at Playlist like a year and a half earlier, and we were like immediate.
You guys were already
friends.
best friends.
Like,
I'm pretty sure you guys were already.
She already came and stayed at my house in my hometown.
You guys were inseparable, and her and I were just starting to talk, and then I went out to LA. Her and I met, and it was like instant love, like soul sibling. Like that's where the name came from. She felt like someone to me that I'd known my whole life. Like my soul recognized her, and I was just like, we genuinely all hit it off behind the scenes so well. Like you and I were messaging all the time. And then when Loey realized that you and I were friends, like talking, because I think you guys were going to do something together. And I had said to her, I was like, oh, I love him. I'm like, she's like, you know him? And I'm like, we haven't met, but we talk. I think it was like that. It came to be that Loey was having her birthday so you and I would have met in September, October. She was having her birthday that spring, and we were going out for it. And that was when you and I had met. And so go ahead from there. That's how the backstory of all of us getting together.
So we went to LA for Loey's birthday. While we were there, we did a paranormal investigation. And like there was 3 of us. We all had channels. So it was like we did the paranormal investigation. Someone was like, oh, let's do this for my channel. And then I was like, oh, let's do this for my channel. And we uploaded this collab, and people just love a group. Like people love a group of friends. They love to follow. And immediately it blew up. Immediately.
You know what I think it is too? People love a group of friends, but I think it's also like you have more of a chance of the video being liked because there's 3 opportunities for someone to resonate. Like someone who doesn't resonate with me may resonate with you or her, and like vice versa. So it was like people loved you for like what you brought, and like me for a totally different thing, and her for and it just merged so well. Like we just worked. It worked.
Yeah, it really did. And Loey, I'm sure I'll say is hilarious.
So funny.
Like, she is so funny to be around. She really is.
Unintentionally funny. Like, all we did was laugh. Like, we were even reminiscing the other night about, like, there was one night that, like, the hot tub was closed, so we were all trying to take a hot tub in the bath, and there was seaweed everywhere, and, like, all we did was laugh. Like, I
that with no context is crazy. There was seaweed everywhere. That's just crazy.
She put a seaweed bath bomb, and we had bathing suits on, and there was this. It was just funny, and like I've heard of, like, for an example, Alicia Marie has said in videos that a lot of the people that you thought like watching were best friends, they hated each other behind the scenes. It was strict.
Yeah, but that wasn't us.
That wasn't us. Like, we were best friends. Like, and that's why, like, when everything went down, that's why things got so messy and passionate, is because this wasn't just like, oh, I never liked her to begin with, or that. Like, this is our best friend. We were all best friends.
I think I was tied in a little too much. Like, I thought maybe it was a little too real of a friendship, I guess, and that's why I was so like distraught over it.
That was the hardest thing. And you want to know what? I think that's really what made me spiral a little bit. It was so real to me. This wasn't about views. It wasn't about money. That was literally just an added bonus for me. I couldn't believe that, like, we could all get together and spend a week in New York and have our fun and film it and still make money and still have a career.
This was we ended at the
end of 2018.
In the middle of 2018.
No, it was end because it was December. It was Christmas.
Yeah, but like, we posted our last collab a few months before that. I wasn't making any money. I didn't start making money on YouTube till 2021.
Yeah, and I had
like I would make like a few hundred a month.
I had my first big YouTube month that December.
At this point, like, the falling out was what, 6 years ago?
Yeah, 6 years ago.
So like we're not here to go rehash it all.
I'm so far pulled back from that situation now. I've healed from it. I've done the work that I needed to do from it. It was now I can look back and there's no like bitterness towards it. There's not, it's just like such a fun time in my life. And so for me, so much has changed for me in the last 6 years. I'm sure like so much has changed for Loey, and like I'm sure so much growth has happened there too. And for me, like, how pathetic would it be to rehash something from 6 years ago and be like,
that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, we don't even know who Loey is anymore. Like, I'm sure
she's probably
like everything was like a wake up call for her
too.
Yeah, I'm sure everything was a wake up call for her too. And like, she's a completely different person.
Yeah.
Guys, there's definitely going to be like a gray area for you because we can't get into the personal detail of it. Because number one, like, no one is trying to ruin anyone's career here.
Absolutely
like,
not.
It was so many years ago. It's not stuff like we want to bring up again.
What went on between us was a friendship thing. This wasn't a YouTube thing. It wasn't a work thing. This was like a deeply personal friendship thing. So that's why it's like, it's not something that we have ever felt is good to air out, because it's literally like, imagine going through something with someone that was so close to you behind the scenes, and then someone saying to you, like, your coworkers or the people who like support you in your work saying, now sit down and tell us all the personal details.
Our channels, our videos, work was not mentioned once in the downfall.
Never.
Like, it had nothing to do with that. I think episode 3 of this podcast, I got into it a little bit.
Yeah, you guys should watch that one. You told a lot more in that. However, you kind of also made it seem like I was worse than I was in that video. When I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, people are going to think that I was like worse than what happened with me.
Well, like, at the time, like, what happened, like, you didn't look the greatest.
No, so
to me, at least.
So I'll actually touch on what I did, because I feel like it's my story to tell. So it's not like rehashing anything. It's something that I've grown from. One thing about me, especially back then, is I don't do well with confrontation. I don't do well with disappointing people. And I really don't do well with saying no. But mostly, like, I, to a fault, don't like hurting people's feelings or disappointing people. So I would do something where I would avoid. And it's a really bad trait of mine. I would just like isolate and avoid and like revert. There was a trip planned to come to Canada.
With just Loey.
This is where it gets confusing, Andrew, for me. She had initially said we should do something for Christmas, film, do like a whole Christmas thing and get together. It'd be so much fun, a friend miss. Yeah. So my initial thought was you too. Because
then you told me
we had been doing everything together, right? Like, that was my bad. Like, I can truly say, like, I just assumed. So I messaged Andrew and I said, hey, just spoke to Loey. We're thinking about doing like some sort of friendship thing at my place in December. Could you get time off and come? You were so excited. And
do you remember though? And be so
I will,
for real
yeah.
if you don't remember this. Do you remember I said to both of you? I said, "Are you like I don't want to impose. Do you just want it to be a girl's thing?"
100%. And I said no because I didn't think it was. Like I really didn't. So and she said no too. So okay, wait. Let me backtrack for a second. So we had spoke privately, her and I, about doing a Christmas thing. I got really excited. I messaged you and I said, "Hey, are you thinking of this?" And you said, "Do you mind if I say like you were like, well, finances are a little tighter?" So I said, "I'll buy your plane ticket." Like I literally was like, "I'll buy your plane ticket." So just I want to throw that in because that's how serious I was with you. So no wonder you were packing your bags. Like I had said, and
that's why I couldn't. That's why I couldn't get on the plane.
By the way, my
ticket.
My heart is racing right now. Not because I'm like scared of sharing this, but because like I have felt so guilty over this for so many years that like rehashing.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
Anyways, I had messaged Andrew. He got all excited. He's like, "Oh, but I can't really like afford a plane ticket right now because it was also Christmas and plane tickets are so expensive."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Don't worry about it. I'll buy your ticket."
And I worked at Chili's.
Yeah, true. And I was like, "I'll buy your plane ticket. Come out." And he was like, "What dates are you thinking?" And Loie and I had already discussed dates, so I sent you the dates, and you got excited. And then one night I was talking with her, and I'm not gonna say what she said or whatever. It wasn't really bad, but essentially she just wanted it to be just us, and she was really adamant on that. And I felt like I was being put into a position where I had to choose between you or her. And she had already booked her trip herself. Like she had booked her own trip. And so she had said to me, "Why can't you just tell Andrew that we'll do something together in the new year and just like tell him he can't go?" So,
which I would have been totally fine with.
I know. This is the worst part. This is my fault in all of this. Okay. And I take ownership. So now I'm having severe anxiety like back then. Because now it's on me to tell you, who I've just told, this date, I'm going to book your flight. You're packing.
You booked the flight.
Yeah, you're doing everything, okay? And now I'm being told that would be really disappointing, that it just needs to be the two of us. And I can't remember, maybe there was a personal reason that she wanted a girls thing. This is not on her. This is on me.
Yeah.
Like I could have very easily have said, "Hey, Andrew, it's going to be a girls thing. She just wants to have a girls thing." And you would have been like maybe disappointed, but it would have been fine. Like, This is my fault. So I started panicking.
She could have had her own reasons. I could have been really fucking annoying.
I don't know. I can't even remember. And so I had said, I started doing this thing. I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you do. This is trauma for you, so you remember it all. I started saying like, "Well, what about your back?" Because I was making reasons that he should plan another trip.
You were like, "I'm worried about your back," and I was like,
and you were like, "I'll just sleep on an air mattress." And I was like, and I would never. I would always give you my bed. And like, I was trying to find a reason for you to decide that you didn't want to come, so that, because in my anxiety head, I'm like, he's going to feel unwanted. And that wasn't the case. It wasn't this like schemy thing. It was just like, she was like, "Oh, I was really hoping for it to be just a girl's thing," which is totally fine. But I was confused because you had asked her and she said yes to you. So that's why I also thought this is a group thing. And then when I'm hearing privately that like it's not supposed to be, now I'm feeling like I just brought you in without properly talking to her. But in my head, this was a group thing, right? Like, so anyways, I start making all these reasonings and whatever. And then
I just need to say something really quick. I live by an airport and I keep looking up at planes and it looks like I'm rolling my eyes.
Oh my God.
I'm not.
Oh, there's going to be a TikTok edit of like, here she goes.
Yeah.
But I remember she had came out and I was still dealing with this. I was still avoidant and I didn't know what to say to you. And the worst part is you were like, "Hailey, just tell me. Just tell me if she doesn't want me there." Because you knew it wasn't me, because I was so excited. So like even then you were like, "Just tell me." And I didn't. And then I remember you kept writing me and I was getting overwhelmed. And for my mental health, she was like, "Just like leave it. Like, let's just have fun. Just leave it." And I did. And then she left and I sat there and I realized what I had done. And I wrote you the biggest apology, but it wasn't enough at the time. And I totally get that. And then you and I were about to not be friends, if I remember, from this situation. And I had to tell you a lot of, we got on the phone to talk about things because I wanted to openly admit to my role in it. And like the fact that I should have just said, "This plans have changed. You're not coming." But we started talking for the first time, just us, about deep, deep, deep things that have been going on.
Like me being like, it was when we're not getting into it, but it was like, "Oh, I thought this about you."
I was told this.
And you were like,
I was told
I thought this about you.
And then we're learning all these things and things are coming to light. And there's just like, Imagine there's like a little pill, right? Like, you know, the red pill, the blue pill, like in the Matrix. And you suddenly swallow a pill and you see everything for what it was. And everything you thought was something is just totally different. And it was one of those moments. And it was the first time that you and I were like, hold up. And that was when it was kind of the start of us realizing a lot of things.
And I do feel bad about this. I mean, it was definitely, because there was a lot that we're not talking about. But like, I do feel bad of how we kind of bombarded her with everything all at once.
Well, not just us. Think about what happened as an iceberg. You knew us online, so we were the iceberg the part of the iceberg you can see.
You guys knew the Soul Siblings, but the friend group
was so much
actually
bigger
like 8 or 9
behind the
people.
scenes. We did a group of us all call and confront like the discrepancies and things, and it just wasn't adding up.
Even if someone's wrong, I always want to be on their side because I never want anyone to feel alone. And that's what I look back and I do feel really
And
bad
I want to
about.
say this. She apologized. Like, she apologized to me. And
I'm going to pee. No, I really got to pee. On that note, let me go pee quick because let me go pee.
She apologized very sincerely to me. I hope you guys know, like, we're not bringing this up for any reason other than we know that if we were to do a podcast episode and not talk about it together once and for all, you guys
we haven't made a video together in like 5 years, 4 years. So like,
and we've never talked about it together ever. So we feel like we have to, and then we can.
This is the Hailey Reese Sidetracked episode. Like, of course we're going to talk about it.
Exactly. So I hope you guys don't think that we're like trying to rehash drama. Again, people change, people grow. This is just our experience back then.
I want to ask you, would you ever be friends or do a video with Loey again?
100%.
Me too.
100%. I truly believe that people can grow from situations. And in my heart of hearts, like, that's all I ever wanted was for her to see like what happened and to grow from it. I just so badly wanted her to fix things because I wanted us to be what we were, like all of us.
I think she cared. I think she must have cared. Like, I think
she did too. I think maybe she felt like we were so mad and so far gone that there was nothing she could do.
That's why I feel bad about like the bombarding, because I feel like maybe it was just so overwhelming and stressful that she was like, I need to just stop thinking about it. I think she must have been the most mad at me because I kind of like
initiated it.
I initiated it, but like I didn't. I mean, not that you did, but like you told me why I was ghosted when you guys were in Canada. So I missed a week of work. I was, had my bags packed. I got my hair cut. Like, I did everything. And then like,
stop it. It makes me so sad every time
but
you
I get
say
it.
it.
And we'll get into like the whole you and me of it all after. But like, to me, like my whole thing was, it seemed like she actually didn't really like me that much behind the scene, like to other people. Then like she was, apologizing to you up and down. Like, but then to me, it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, you found me out. Like, yep. I do want to say it is all water under the bridge. And like, even if like we ever did do another video with her, or just like
I've texted Loey over the years.
Or just we're friends or whatever. I wouldn't even, it wouldn't even have to be like, oh, like we have to have a conversation about. It was so long ago. I don't care. We were like in different eras of our life.
I don't care either. And honestly, if I was to see her right now, I would just take her for who she is now.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is now. I would love to get to know who she is now. Like,
just how you and I do now, we would laugh about it.
I really think we would too. In the moment, there were so many emotions and it was so high that like it wasn't funny. Yeah. Like, it wasn't funny. I would cry about it. You would think that like I had a betrayal by an ex. That's how heartbroken I was. It was like a breakup. Like, I went from like, you guys don't understand. We texted each other like 24, the three of us, 24/7. And suddenly it's just Andrew and I. But also I think time was needed. Yeah. I really do. Because I don't think that we'd be able to water under the bridge like we do now. Like, I'm so far disassociated from it that it's not funny to me. But like, there are parts where I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, but I look back and like, I carry so much guilt from like my role in it. But even moving forward, because we get sidetracked.
So anyway, we went through all that. People noticed we weren't friends anymore. And then they started speculating. And what they were speculating was just complete craziness. And you and I were getting so much hate. I know people were saying crazy stuff about you. To me, they were saying...
Andrew, I was the worst.
To me, no, me too. Like to me...
No. Online, I was in the main story. I was the villain who broke up the friend group, broke up you and Loey, and you were just following me.
Okay, yes, that was one of the storylines. But another storyline I saw by a lot of people was that I was a typical gay and was causing drama between girls because I was jealous that I wasn't a girl.
That's got to be it.
That had
you
to be
couldn't
it.
be us, so you had to beat us.
Yes, exactly.
But like the theories were freaking crazy. And like, you guys, if you don't know me, like if you're just from Andrews and you've never seen me before, I especially before care so much what people think.
Yeah.
And especially when it couldn't be more wrong, I hate it. I hate it.
It never bothered me.
I know, and you would laugh at some of them. Guys, there were times I was devastated by this friendship breakup. You guys don't understand. Devastated. And like the drama channels, F you guys.
Yeah.
I would literally read the comments and cry. And the one drama channel, you know who I'm talking about, he would like all the freaking comments. And like, I'm dealing with the like worst friendship breakup. I'm heartbroken. And then I'm having to read that it's all my fault. I'm a mean girl. And then even though like I could always tell in the videos, this is who Hailey was. So now I'm getting self-conscious about how I present myself. And I got so in my head about everything that like this was building up. But continue on to the live stream.
We didn't know how to handle it. Definitely. We didn't handle it great. And we would try to give little inklings that what people were saying wasn't true, or that, you know, we weren't the culprits or whatever. And by doing that, we just seemed really shady, honestly.
And I need to context too. Andrew came to Canada and we'd been drinking. We were having fun, having drinks, doing lives, filming videos.
Well,
we were just having fun.
We filmed a drunk video.
And then we thought, why don't we go live? What a genius. What could
Great.
go wrong? But we did the live and Andrew went to go get pizza, I think. Like you went to go get the pizza because we'd ordered pizza and I was left to my own vices. And drunk Hailey left to her own vices is problematic on numerous levels. And remember the chat got spammed and all it was saying was her name. And at this point, if you search my name, and even still now, the first thing that comes up, Hailey, Reese, Loey Lane drama. I hated that. My channel was my safe space. And now it's this drama space where every comment is about how I'm a mean girl. And
for me, it wasn't that bad. Like I got away from it all, even though I was smaller, because you were paranormal and so was she. So like I was able to just, I don't get any of those anymore at all.
didn't. And I'm still not. I don't get comments about it so much. Only on like our old videos when people find them. They're like, I wish this was still happening. But like at the time, it's all I was seeing. And I felt like what was so special to me, my channel and my career, had now become this drama thing. And so I'm looking at it and I'm seeing spam. And I got so frustrated that I think I had a breaking point where I said, stop commenting this. We are never going to be friends with Loey again, ever. The way that we started talking, we were trying to give Easter eggs without
it just seemed shady.
Giving it. It was so shady. It was worse than if we just said nothing.
It was worse than if we said the whole truth. Or nothing.
It's so bad. It got recorded and it got reposted. It just was a terrible light. And that was the start of people coming up with their theories and their stories. And it just became so
a really bad
big
2019 for both of us.
That was the start of like the decline of my consistency on my channel and stuff, because I just like, I was so sad about it and it was so icky and I was becoming something that I wasn't online, like in the drama channels and stuff. I regret how I handled it.
Yeah. Same.
Like if I could
Me
go
too.
back, I would have handled everything so differently. But like we've had so much growth. It's been 6 years. We're now in our early 30s, late 20s. And like you learn a lot. Like you just look back and obviously
that's why, like,
I would never handle
I wish Loey
like
was
that
here for
again.
this conversation, because I'm sure she'd be right there with us saying like we were all so young, like it was so dumb.
And that's the thing too. I feel bad to talk about it because she's not here to defend herself. And at the end of the day, like I'm not saying anything ill on her again. I wish her absolutely nothing but the best. If she was here right now, I would welcome her with open arms on this chair to laugh about our times together and have fun. Like there's truly my hand on everything. No
Same.
bad blood, no animosity. Like I wholeheartedly wish her nothing but the best in life. And I would love nothing more than for all of us to catch up.
If there's never another Soul Siblings video, it's going to be because Loey, because I think we would be open to it. I think she's
100%.
so just like,
I also don't blame her.
Yeah,
Look at how we handled everything. I feel like she probably might assume like it would hash up like in a negative way, but I think it'd be better to just be positive.
yeah,
I don't know.
Like I would love to have an episode with the three of us, like just laughing and like going through old memories, but I don't think she would. I don't want to reach out to her because I know I'll be ignored.
You think?
Yes.
So I've messaged her over the years, like casually, like Happy New Year, or like I hope you're doing okay, or like I even think I wrote her one night, like I'm looking back on our old videos and like I just miss it
Did
so
she answer
much. She had answered me the first few times, and then I think the last time I reached out to her was in 2020, and she never answered, and we haven't spoke since.
Yeah, I haven't reached out. We haven't talked in
I don't even know what I said. I think it was just like, thinking of you, hope you're well. I want to tell you guys this. We didn't even have a big blow up fight. That's what you guys don't understand. It was literally all these things came to light. We confronted her on them. We got the answer that, yeah, all of this is true. Sorry. And then we all just stopped talking. We never fought. There was no fighting words. We didn't call each other names. There was no back and forth.
So right after, like, you know, the Lowy situation, we talked separately. And I told you, like, hey, I appreciate you telling me everything. You know, I appreciate everything. But, like, I don't trust you right now. And, you know, that could change. And we were really close. We stayed really close. And there's parts where, you know, I feel bad about too, like with us and where we're at now. But I think, you know, we can rebuild it.
Yeah, of course.
But I was saying you were unreliable. That's just because, like, time and time again, I was being left not with my bags packed, but, like, you know.
I didn't let it go that far.
Yeah, things like.
No, and I want to touch on that because he's not wrong. Like, for anyone watching, like, it's not like you thought I was unreliable. I was being unreliable. Like, that's just, it is what it is. And that's something I've been really open on is, like, my anxiety back then, especially, I would self-isolate. So I'd say yes to things like, yeah, I want to come to that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then things would happen in my life. I would get so overwhelmed and I would shut down. And so I'd be like, I'm not coming anymore. And that was such a disappointment to you. And it was time and time again.
And you were ghosting a little. You were ghosting. And that's the part that I care most about. Because, like, I don't care about, you know, if you tell me. But
see, I don't even remember doing that.
But I wasn't taking into account, like, what you might have been going through mentally.
But I also could have expressed that. And, like, no, that's it. Like, I have had a lot of growth from our situation in that because that was a really tough lesson that I had to learn.
And I have also had a lot of growth because I realize now that you were going through stuff mentally that, like, I didn't realize. You know, I didn't really get anxiety until I was 25. Like, it's not something I dealt with my whole life. And that was something that I really learned. And, like, to kind of just, like, if someone goes to you, okay, it's not going to happen. Just, like, let it roll off your shoulders rather than, like, texting, like, hello.
Letting it consume you. Yeah.
Am I doing this or not? Like,
I don't even know why, like, I would do that. I think I don't even know. Like, and that's, like, Andrew and I have talked a lot about this privately is, like, when I look back on certain periods of my life through the healing that I've done over the years, it's like I'm removed from the situation and I'm watching myself and I don't understand her. Like, I'm like, why wouldn't you just have wrote him and said, hey, it's a really bad mental health week. I'm really not doing well. Can we, like, you still would have been disappointed, but you would have understood.
And I like, you have spent at this point, like, years apologizing. Like,
I'll never stop apologizing. Like, my role in it, I'm disappointed in myself for it. Like, truly.
You're a completely different person. We all are. It's been years. And, like, you have spent years apologizing. And it got to a point where, because I distanced myself from you so much.
And it was so obvious. Because
I told you.
You're one of those people, you're in or you're out. And, like, when you're in, it's so obvious. But when you're out, it's like, you can say, I've been so busy. And, like, granted, yes, you've been busy. But I also know you. If you weren't distancing, you'd find the time when you could. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
But also, I verbatim said to you, I'm distancing myself.
I've distanced from
like, I like, because I don't do the whole, like, I will tell you, like, and it takes a lot for me to do that. You know that. But the reason why I didn't distance completely from you is because you take accountability and you completely, like, everything I say, like, you never once get defensive. Like, you listen and you really do reflect. And that's why I always, that's why I always stay friends with you. Like, because
I really appreciate that compliment because that's something I always try to do is, like, I'm a firm believer in you don't get to tell someone how you made them feel. Like, even if I look back and I'm like, I don't feel like I was doing that, or, like, I don't know why I did that. I don't get to tell you, like, Andrew, I wasn't, or, like, you didn't feel that way because that was your experience. Of course you felt that way. I really, really try to, like, hear you and hear, like, what I've done and how I can be better. And I really have tried to do that.
The reason why I was like, let's do this podcast is because I really do notice a difference now. Like, I get so wrapped up in friendships. So that's, like, the reason why I really, like, took a couple years to really, like, I mean, even now, like, I don't talk to you that much. Like, you know, but
I'm on probation.
no, you were on probation in my mind, but that's the thing. Like, it got to a point like a couple years ago where I remember I was in Key West and you said something, and like
I said to you, like, I really hate that, like, we're not as close anymore, and like I really miss you, and I miss, like, it was something along the lines of like, I wish that you talked to me more.
yeah, and like I was very much like, okay, well, this is your fault, like, and that's
Yeah.
why I don't talk to you
Yeah.
anymore. Like I said, I get very wrapped up in friendships. I was up your ass, constantly texting you, and like you wouldn't answer me.
I was like that perfect example of the guy who's like chasing the girl, and then the minute that he stops, she's like, wait
Exactly.
a second.
And so
Chase
then
me.
but
Yeah.
like you said, I'm all in or I'm all out, and when I'm out, I'm out.
I do want to say though, guys, like, we didn't go years without talking. Like, we would still text. It's just like before we talked all the time, and we talked deeply about life, and our talking became like
Daily.
acquaintance. No, but I'm saying like afterwards, it became more like we weren't talking about the deep things happening in our lives, or like it was like, how are you? I miss you, or like, I loved your video. Like, it was very like acquaintance. Yeah. I missed my best friend, and I knew it was my fault, and I think that that's why I also fought so hard. Like, I never gave up on trying to make things right with you.
Right. You didn't. And I noticed that. But it was that last time, like, you know, you said that and I freaked out on you. And then the next day I was like, I don't want this to become like I'm always right. I hate to be the person who's like, I'm always right.
But I didn't feel that you, I didn't think
like,
that you were presenting yourself that way.
You apologized so much. And I told you, like, I'm distancing, but like you would continuously apologize. So like, I was just like, I felt bad.
You knew that I couldn't change it. Like, and that's where it's hard, is like, even I'm like, I don't know what I can do, because I'm also not going to like force you to be my friend. And obviously, like, what you went through, it was trauma for you. Like, it brought back your bullying days, and that breaks my heart. I was bullied. I know how fucking awful that is. And the fact that I was even a part of something that like made you feel that way, I think that's where like it upset me so much. But I didn't want you to feel like, because I've apologized, that you have to forgive me, and that like we have to be friends, because sometimes it's okay to set a boundary and be like, no, that's too much. Like, I don't want to move forward. But I also was like, I don't want to give up on this friendship. And I also can't, like, I can't change the past, right? Like, if I could, I would. If I could, oh my God, I would have went back and done so much so different from that whole period. But like, I can't. And so like, all I can do now is try to like show up for you and show you that like in the future, history won't repeat itself. But like, I also appreciate you like taking the time to be like, all right, like, I see that she's trying.
Yeah, of course I see that you're trying. And the only reason why I was hesitant, I mean, that's an understatement, is because like I get so wrapped up, and I don't want to like upset myself again.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, oh, I knew it, and like
so I'm
went
just
into
like,
this again, and here I am.
It was easier to just keep you at arm's length.
Also, I needed that. You were, and I need people to know this, the most loyal friend. Like, that's one thing no one can take from you, is your honesty and your loyalty.
Do you guys catch a theme here?
No, but it's true. Your honesty and your loyalty were never in question. And so I knew, like, I didn't want to lose you as my friend, because it would be all my fault. And like, you're such an open, understanding person that like, for you to cut someone off, it's really saying something. And that was why, like, for me, not that you ever cut me off, but like, you put me at arm's length.
No, and you would have been someone I cut off for sure. But like, I didn't. No, but I for real. Sorry, I'm too honest. But like,
it's true.
I didn't, because I know you're a good person. I know you're a good person, and I know you try.
My anxiety gets the best of me in friendships, and the whole situation put a lot of friendship trust in me too. Friendship mistrust in me. And so I was suddenly like putting up walls in friendships and feeling like things aren't as they seem and whatever. So it was just weird for both of us. Like, I think we were also trying to find our place in like, so what are we now? You know, because so much of our friendship was built with the three of us, and there was so much online, and then we made fools of ourselves. More me. You were fine in the video. It's more me. And
no,
it was just like,
I had my part for sure. I had my part.
It was like, what the hell? But I just knew like losing you as a friend was really hard. And so you putting me at arm's length, knowing how loyal you are, was an even deeper reflection for me. Like, to sit back and be like, okay, like how much bigger is what I did? Because I saw it from my perspective. I saw someone who was so anxious, who tried to do something nice, and then was told to backtrack on it and didn't know how to because all I could think was disappointing you. But then I should have just been honest and been like, this is the situation. And so now I would never allow myself to be in a situation like that again.
Right.
But that's why I fought for you, because I'm like, it's my fault and trust isn't granted. It's earned. Like, and I have to earn your trust.
But that was another misconception. Everyone thought like me and you were like best friends and against Loey, and like everyone was like, but like, no, we were very much having our own problems afterwards. Like, this episode went way longer than we thought. So I literally had to.
Everything's dying, guys.
Everything is dying.
My AirPods, my camera, his memory
You
cards.
really have owned everything. And that's why that's what made me reflect and be like, I think she was just at a point in her life where she was going through something. And like, I was so overwhelmed and I didn't deal well with my anxiety. And also I can say I wasn't a selfish person, but I was selfish in the sense that like I saw my side and I felt like you should see it too. But it was mishandled with pure intentions. Like I was trying to avoid hurting your feelings, and in return, I hurt your feelings the worst I could have. I had my parts too. Like I said, it got to a point where I felt like I was just constantly telling you why you're wrong or why you're a bad person. Like, because you kept on trying to be my friend and I was trying to keep you at a distance, and it was me like hitting you off. I'm happy like we also touched on our roles and everything, and like the Soul Siblings isn't a thing anymore. We all played a part in it.
Well, I mean, like you and I have talked, we'd love to film together, us again. And again, like if this opportunity ever came and she wanted to, we would be more than open to it. And I want you guys, when you watch back on those videos, I want you to feel the joy in them, because it was so real and like we were having the time of our lives. And so like I don't want what we did to be tainted by like the downfall of it all. And because it really was the time of my life. I know we've touched a lot on like what happened and us not being friends with Loey, but like when we were friends, God, she was so much fun, and it was just so funny. One of the funniest people.
And I do want to say, just, because she hasn't been here to defend her part or anything, you and I never dealt with extreme loss at that point. And then like you lost your grandma, I lost Adriana, and Loey lost her dad a year before that, prior to that. So like, who really knows what she was going through mentally?
Do you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because me from 2020 to 2023, I was a shell of myself. I was saying things, doing things, just giving up on my hopes and dreams because of tremendous loss and hard things in my life. So I give her the grace that it was a dark period in her life, and that's what happened.
Yeah. I would love for us to all film a podcast together, or like just, and nothing, just in case she's ever watching this, which she's probably not, but like nothing will ever have to be hashed out. We don't have to even talk about the downfall. Like I think it would just be fun to talk about like the funny memories.
To be honest with you, after this, I never want to talk about it again.
Same.
But I'm so ready for even us and our friendship to like put that behind us and be able to just look forward to like
you're
what's
not off
next.
the hook yet. I tell you all the time, like you're still at arm's length until
I'm on probation.
You're still on probation, and you're still at arm's length until what?
Until I come see you. We have to say this because we can't end the episode without saying it. You guys, I don't think anybody understands how devastated I was when everything came to light after our live stream and everyone was being so mean. Andrew, you even said the comments on the gossip channels were so mean about me. so mean. And the one night I'm sitting there at my kitchen island and I'm reading the comments and I'm
This
bawling.
was before you realized that I don't care what people say. I think you thought, because like there were a lot of mean ones about me, I think you thought like we were going to be in this together. Like
we were going to cry together. And so I'm bawling and I grab my phone, okay?
This is the cringiest thing.
This is so cringy. I put my camera on to scroll through the comments and show Andrew, because I was texting him saying I'm bawling my eyes out. And he was like, Hailey, it's not that serious, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Andrew, it's really bad. And so I'm like, have you read the recent comments? And you said something like, I'm out, like, or whatever. So I start filming the comments, okay? And I'm not looking at my phone. I'm looking at the comments so that I can see which ones he's seeing. And I'm bawling as I'm doing it. Like bawling to the point of like tears coming out the nose. Like it's not cute.
Snot. It was snot.
It was tears.
It was snot.
It was tears. So I press send. Like, when you can just like go on someone's chat and like do the photo or video and then you can just press send. So I pressed done send without even noticing. Like I don't know what was wrong. I was blurry eyed from crying. Andrew FaceTimes me laughing. I sent him a video of me hysterically crying. The camera flipped and it wasn't on the comments. So you just see me crying and
it's like on
I'm
her face
reading the
and
comments.
she's crying, snot coming. I was sending her screenshots of the snot drips. Like,
he zoomed in on them and was like, Hailey, there's snot. And I'm like, and God, I can't,
that's when you know, like, you're getting too wrapped up in the internet and like you have a beautiful family, like boyfriend, you know, like dogs, like go pet your dogs,
go touch some grass, like come back to reality. Do you want to end on something funny that haunts me? Because I don't know if you remember it. We went to Playlist Live and we went to a party and we were all a little intoxicated, myself mostly. And we went to a restaurant, a whole group of us. Do you remember this?
I don't know yet.
It's not ringing a bell?
Yet.
We get to the restaurant and I'm feeling good and I'm hungry. You know, when you get to the point of drunk that you just need to eat?
Yeah.
And I tell everybody at the table, it's on me. Order whatever you want. And I start ordering appetizers galore, like for the table. I ordered like 6 or 7, okay? And all the appetizers are coming.
I don't remember this.
And you don't remember?
Not yet.
Andrew, I'm sitting there, and as I'm eating, I'm sobering up a bit. Backtrack. Before we left for the party, we had went to a party there, and then someone had said there was a house party, and we just left. I only took $20 cash with me. I left my bank card at the room. So I'm sitting there sobering up, and I'm realizing that there's about 10 of us with so much food, and I told everyone it's on me, get whatever you want.
You were probably like trying to make a good name for yourself in front of these influencers. Okay.
No, Andrew, I just wanted to eat, and I was like, I didn't want to have all the appetizers to myself. So I unload all this food and I realize I have no money. So now I'm panicking. So I call an Uber to come get me while you guys finish eating so that I can go get my bank card and come back and pay for the meal. The Uber wouldn't come. So I'm outside drunk by myself. Everyone's telling me, Hailey, don't worry about it. The Uber's not coming. The Uber's not coming. Finally, our friend comes out and he's like, I'm going to pay for it, Hailey. Don't worry about it. And I'm embarrassed. Like, Andrew, I'm talking, I ordered mozzarella sticks, French onion soup, nachos.
That was expensive, that place.
It was expensive. We weren't at the hotel. We were off the hotel. And it was expensive, though. And like a few $100s at least, Andrew. And he had to cover the bill. And I was mortified. So then I remember we get into the Uber. And I'm so upset because it finally found me. And the driver needed to stop for gas. This is one of my human moments where I'm not being that nice. And I told him, how could you not find me? Now my friend had to pay for the meal. Like, I'm so upset. And he's going to put the gas. And I roll down my window and I say, I won't give you a bad rating for any of this if you don't drop my rating from a 5-star. Because I've never had a bad Uber rating in my thousands of rides. Everyone always gives me 5 stars. Who says that? And then we went back to the hotel. But to this day, it haunts me that I was acting like a big baller. Like, on me! And I had $20 in my pocket.
Look. Even I don't remember it, so it can stop haunting you because no one remembers it.
Guys, we didn't even get into our funny stories together. We're funny. We're not always this serious.
Yeah, no, well, you know, if you ever come to visit me, we could reflect on those funny stories, but don't hold your breath. Well, I'm like, is there anything you want to promote?
I mean, I'm doing a video every day on my channel in December.
And you have a shop, right?
Yep. I have everything. Well, right now I'm actually taking a little bit of a pause on my crystal shop just because I'm going to revamp it all in the new year. But for the rest of the year, I'm just posting every day on my main channel. I'm doing like true crime, mysteries, just like unsolved things all across the world and crazy cases. And then I'm going to bring back Daily Hailey come the new year. So that'll be fun because I really want to collab with you for that because we just bring out different sides of each other. And it's so much fun when I come see you. Guys, I'm going to get off of this podcast and I'm going to be looking at flights and he's going to be shocked.
I will not be shocked until I see you in person because we've been there with the flights before. We've had the bags packed before.
We've had the flights booked.
Yeah, we've had the haircuts.
Stop. The bags packed really, really gets me. Anyway. This has been fun.
She's posting every single day in December on her channel. It'll be linked below. And also one day well, her crystal shop will be open again. So,
Yeah.
and look out for music in the new year. So,
I still have my crystal shop. It's just I'm going to revamp it in the new year.
Well,
all my links are in my YouTube bio.
Go buy some crystals. Well, thank you, Hailey. We hope to see more of you. We'll see. We hope to see more of us together. We shall see. And I guess that's it. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. Oh, wait.
Thank you,
If you guys are watching, make sure you give this a thumbs up. Comment down below. Leave 5 stars if you're listening for audio listeners. Leave 5 stars.
And if you're coming from my channel, make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube. Go listen to the audio. Make sure that you guys get a bunch of Andrew in your life, because despite how honest he is with me, he is one of the most genuine, incredible people, and he deserves.
And we've been friends for so long now, so
we really have.
Anyway,
almost all of my 20s.
Yeah, that's wild. We love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, I'm looking at that camera.
Guys.
Oh no.